Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today's video is meant to just be fun. I would say weird, but it's really not that weird in concept. I found these curtains at a thrift store. They're definitely something vintage. In fact, someone felt the need to run up to me and let me know that they are vintage. So I wanted to make an outfit out of them. What a novel idea. So this video is basically detailing how I did that. So there's a lot here. This is by far the most technical thing I have ever done, which probably says a lot about me and my abilities. And that's what we're gonna learn. That's what we're gonna learn today together. So obviously for everything that you do, with the fabric I had, aka literal plastic woven curtains, I had to tuck in every edge or it frayed, and every piece is lined with a just white bed sheet that I got from Walmart, just so my skin wouldn't absolutely hate me by the end of this experience. So everything I cut, you're cutting an extra one up for lining. Everything is being like sewn over into individual pieces to hold in the edges before connecting them to each other. It's a really fun time. So the items I needed were, I used zip ties for a corset type top, which I didn't do correctly. I have large button snaps. I got some grommets / eyelets for the corset top. I got D-rings, Velcro, and an invisible zipper. That was all the hardware I have for this outside of the fabric itself. So I patterned my pants off of a pair of skinny jeans I have because I quite frankly don't have a wide range of pants in order to pattern things off of. So I did what I normally, obviously I did take into account what the fabric was, but not enough. So I did give myself quite a lot of room in terms of like length, because I knew I wanted them to be very high-waisted pants. I gave myself a lot of work in terms of like width, like, you know, giving yourself a lot of inches. Well, I should have given myself more because I didn't take into account that I'd have to like sew in every single seam because it would fray if I didn't. I didn't take into account like the lining or anything, which really quickly started to add up, and so you lose inches pretty quickly. But I knew I wanted them to be a straight leg pant, so I obviously just like did a straight leg, which I ended up doing it much wider than I wanted to, but that was for the best because I could always go in and like cinch it later, which is exactly what I did. I basically built the whole piece and then kind of like suctioned it to my body at the end of the video. In total, all the pieces that I cut for this were front leg pieces, so obviously 2, and then 2 pieces of lining, back leg pieces, so that's another 4 cuts, 2 side panels, which I ended up having to put in because I didn't take enough width into account, but I also do think they just look nice. My side panel ended up being a like loopy diamond shape. A liquid diamond, like almost like a teardrop on both ends, you know, because I only needed it right at my hips because I didn't take that into account. I made 2 pockets, both inner and back pockets, and then I did a waistband because my pants didn't end up being as high as I wanted them, and waistbands just look nice, you know? Once the pants are all cut apart and lined, like I said, I added lining to each individual piece, just to make it easier and that like nothing would be touching my skin. So I sewed, and again, I'm not a technical person, so I don't know if this is correct. I just did it in the ease of me being able to try it on and like work with it as I'm going, because obviously I'm sewing it for myself. But what I did is I sewed the front pair together and the back pair together from the crotch to the waistband, so just like what touches your upper body area, abdominal area. And once you sew those, you'll have a front and a back, and from there you sew the inner legs together. And I did this just so I could easily try them on my body and start to see the shape come together. But I waited to sew the outer seam, like right along your hip, until the very end, because I ended up having to put in side panels, the pockets, all of that stuff. So I just sewed the crotch, and I did that like immediately. So you have an inner pant leg and the front and back piece, but obviously nothing holding them together on the sides. So I obviously attached the side panel, but again, I kept working like from the back to the front. So the literal last seam I sewed was that front side seam. because that's where the pocket ended up going and the zipper and whatnot. So the side panels went in, which I like sat there measuring and like figured out how to do what I'm calling now a loopy diamond teardrop shape. Those got put in just in the backs. From there, I cut out pockets, so I definitely should have made these pockets bigger. I also didn't need to. Built the pockets in the bedsheet and the curtain, and then I like pooped. Then I put the bedsheet into the curtain, which wasn't necessary. I should have just done one nice big bedsheet pocket for the inner so it's comfortable for my hand to go in, but then it would have been much bigger, and I didn't take any of that into account. So they're really small pockets, so I would definitely change that. So from there, I placed the pocket and I sewed it into the front side seam of the pant, which then on the side that I didn't want the zipper, I was able to zip up and totally close that pant leg. Obviously making sure to not close the pocket, making sure you're just sewing it around the seam of the pocket so that it's still accessible. And from there, I attached the zipper to the other side. So the zipper sits in between the pocket and the side seam, which is a little bit weird probably, but honestly I don't really mind it, and the pocket helps hide it just a bit. So this just made, I'm also not good at sewing zippers. Shelby, what are you good at? But I don't know, I don't have the foot that's bent for zippers for my machine, so I really just shove it in there and like zoom really fast. This is how I sew. So I try not to even show how I sew zippers because I know it's so incorrect that anyone would be like, please stop ever saying you sew zippers. So I did want to add, I totally forgot, before your pants are fully together, I did put the back pockets on the back of the pants. They're just big rectangle square shaped pockets. I did it while I think the pieces were connected just by the inner leg, just so I could still lay the pants out relatively flat and be able to get a nice little seam in there for the pockets. So that was just for simplicity, but it's not really anything crazy. They're also mostly decorative and not really that useful, but that's good to do before the pants are all together and you're trying to like shove it into your machine. So then after, you've added the pockets, you've put in your zipper, you got the seams all zipped up and you're happy with it. I added a 4-inch waistband. I just went for really big. Obviously I lined it and I did it like a tube so that I could flip it in and out, and so the seam was nice. And then I like just did a simple stitch all around it so it was nice and flat, which made attaching it super easy. And normally I'm really lazy with waistbands, so I'm happy I did this because it would have been a mess me trying to just like get it all laid out. And this is why I have the giant button, because I wanted this waist to look like it was cinched even though it was very like flat and kind of stiff almost. So I used the button as a way to overlap the waistband and pull it in to my stomach a little bit so it kind of looks like it's cinched. It's really not doing anything, it's like completely visual effect. But that's the only reason I had the giant button, just because that was kind of a late design choice because I didn't make the pants long enough for the effect I wanted, because again my pattern from the beginning was kind of messed up. So this is me correcting all of my problems in my pattern, which here I don't think I filmed any of it, but here like my pants were like very wide, like baggy sweatpant wide, which just wasn't working with the fabric, wasn't looking great on me. So I did slim them, so it's like a slim straight leg, not so much like a wide leg like I was kind of hoping. But honestly the fabric's very stiff and just like so heavy that I think it looks better versus like it looked heavy when it was so wide. Like it kind of looked like it was gonna fall off me, and honestly at points it probably was with me walking. It was like weighing the fabric down off my waist. So I think this just looks better, even though I know it's not exactly like the wide legs 70s pant I wanted. But honestly it was a lot of fun. So I did all of the taking in at the end, which it was just taking in at the bottom of my legs because let's be real, I had to add fabric around my hips. Classic. So now I don't really go into detail about these because they were kind of, I'll be honest, an afterthought, but I really wanted to make this a whole matching outfit, really just to have a photo shoot. Like that's what all of this is, just so I can take like one photo. I put hours of work in. But I thought I was going to make a whole top, but quite frankly I was so tired and really over picking up all the pieces of this fabric fraying, so I decided to make basically like a half under boob corset top. There's probably a name for those. They're probably just a corset. I don't know. Who knows? I keep using their bustier and I don't think that's correct. But But so how it was like under, and it goes like under your chest and like kind of cradles your boobs basically, and then it had straps to go over. This is where I used the D-rings, but funny enough, I didn't use them correctly. I truly just used them as a means to attach the fabric to the waistband effectively, but they don't actually tighten. That was just me. I just kind of did what I always do with my tank top videos, and I like make it a little bit tighter than I think it should when I'm holding it on myself, so that way it's tight. And so it was basically just making the under of a bra, which I just patterned out really quick, I think from a bra, maybe, probably, I don't know actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But I just got the general shape down, and I decided I didn't really want to make it too complicated. I knew I wanted like the grommet eyelet look. Grommet, is that the word? So I kind of faked it and added 2 panels to the front that are totally useless, like they don't do anything, but that's where I put them in. And this was my first experience using these, which was really fun, and I want to do it again. And I didn't do it the best, like they're definitely on too thin a fabric, and because I didn't buy interfacing, classic. I just tried, like, I think I triple layered this and it still really wasn't enough. So it's a little messy, but I really like the effect of it, and I think it's really cool. And I decided to just make the side Velcro so I can easily take it on and off. I went the ultimate lazy method with this, but it can now just kind of like go over anything I'm wearing really easily, which I honestly appreciate. I know it's kind of like cheating, but whatever. So it was literally just making straps, you know, making a large waist piece that goes all the way around with Velcro on both sides, and fake putting on front panels so that I could make it look like I'm tied into it, even though I'm not. And so that was all I did for the top. And then I made a little animal vest for Grogu, which is just, it was based off one of his, what's that called? Harness. It was based off a harness. It's basically just a large rectangle with a strap that goes around his neck and a strap that goes around his waist. I ended up making it too short at first because, again, this fabric has no stretch, and I thought I was taking it into account, but not near as enough as I should have been. So I had to lengthen the straps on that and obviously test it on him, but he looked dapper as all get out. And I put a little bow on it, although you can't see it at any point because it's all kind of just like a lot to look at. But I loved how the colors looked on him with like his orange fur. So that was just really quick how I did all of those. Again, everything was lined so that no one got irritated or uncomfortable. And then this is the final reveal, not review. Jeez. This is the final reveal. So I really hope you enjoyed that video. I know it was a lot of me speaking and saying things and probably nothing correct, but you know what? It was a really fun experience. It took so many, like, again, probably the most work I've put into something in like a really long time. And now I can say I've made a pair of pants, which until now I have, but they were like sweatpants basically, or like lounge pants. So that's like the most structured thing I've made, and it kind of gave me confidence to test it out again. And I do think I'm going to reuse the pattern to try making an actual pair. I don't know how to, like, I don't have material, but like maybe in the future I'll actually try making a pair. So that is all. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to support me, obviously just liking this video, subscribing, it means the world. I do have a Patreon if you're interested. I do want to start, I'm heavily studying pattern making because I do make my own patterns for everything. I'm really uncomfortable about using patterns. I don't know why. Probably something in my subconscious. Subconscious? I can't. I'm done trying to figure out words today. I am really trying to figure out pattern making in terms of like making it accessible to people, like, and how to share it properly and then it'll print properly. So I don't have anything for this video, unfortunately. If I figure it out and like I ever do make something, I will let you know. But I would love to, like, from time to time when I release a sewing video, be able to give you something in terms of that. So we'll see. I'm sorry that I don't really give a ton of information in that area. I am learning myself, but you know, I'm hoping to make those things at least available from time to time, maybe just completely free. From time to time, I'll probably share with my patrons. So we'll see. It's all learning, but my Patreon's mostly art, photography, digital illustration, stuff like that. I talk about my cat, so fun. But yeah, so that is it. I really appreciate you watching this video. If there's any like weird, any other thing you want me to make, let me know. I'm totally up for anything. So thank you again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.